Hello, my name is Shuttley, and welcome back for another episode of Victoria 3 as Korea. In previous episode, we just mostly set up some industry to be built, and our GDP hasn't grown that much yet, but it's mostly just because we haven't really built that many factories yet. And once we start getting some of the... Oh, right, there's a tool shortage in the Jing market. Now, we're about to get a tooling workshop, which is going to be quite handy. Problem is that the iron, yeah, it's not really quite as profitable, the iron mine right now. And the iron price itself, at least locally, isn't all that great, but I'm sure that that's going to start changing soon enough as well. We do not have that much production over here in the northeast yet, so we might want to get something in here. Maybe a lead mine or something. Especially once we get a bit further. I think we are going to build a lead mine there, actually. Especially once we start unlocking the... Is it the... Hold on a minute. Production... Does the lathe... Yes, the lathe does unlock the leather class in glasswork, so that's going to allow us to get even more stuff produced. It's also going to start putting out a bit of pollution, to be fair, so that might be a bit of a problem. It looks like the GDP is dropping even further right now, but I'm sure that the tooling workshop is probably going to be very, very profitable in here. I mean, we do use quite a bit of, well, 10 tools over there already. They should be producing... Actually, how much does it produce? 60 tools per level right now. So that's not too shabby, actually, once it gets going anyway. And we don't have too much urban centers yet anywhere. No, not too much. I mean, there's a level 1 on a lot of places, but that's about it. We're getting even more silk plantations. What are they working next? Oh, right, still working. Okay. So there's a silk plantation. Now they're going to be building a... Oh, textile mill in our capital. Well, that's actually quite profitable, I suspect, especially if it's going to be using the silk. Yes, yes it is. Good, 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 good. Now we got the tooling workshop in the northwestern state. So it does require a bit of wood as well, which is probably going to be something we'll want to build up a bit, at least in here. At least, like, well, actually, we've got one level already on the way. We've got also one level in our capital. We might want to get a level in here as well. But there we go. The standard of living hasn't dropped too much. It did increase at one point to like 9.8, but then dropped back down. But it wasn't too bad, and we're starting to get a bit lawless as well. Partially because of the higher legitimacy. Speaking of which, we should probably have a look at if there's any more laws that we could try passing right now. So I don't really want to... Oh, we're actually losing money right now. So I could maybe go for the dedicated police force. That increases... Oh, that is going to be a whole lot of bureaucracy that we need, though. So we might want to wait on that one. Although there's a good support for it. So you know what? No, we'll pass it because we can pass it quickly. But we should probably then go ahead and make sure that... Well, we've got one administration center already underway. We'll probably get another one over here. As I have a suspicion that this could utilize a bit more. But we're going to be starting losing quite a bit of money once we get that one done, because the bureaucracy that we have will go quite a bit into negatives. I'm just hoping that we don't do this too quickly, actually. So, iron is still in massive demand. I mean, I suppose I'm using quite a bit. Oh, we're selling iron, okay. Oh, our market is selling. There's, of course, the construction sectors are taking most of it. It is actually mostly just the construction sectors that are consuming it. And the iron mines is... Well, I'm producing a decent chunk of it. I'm not producing most of it, though. Southern Manchuria is actually the biggest producer. Yeah, they've got 4 mines there. Okay, well, that's pretty decent. We do produce... Well, we've got 2 mines over here. I suspect that once we get a bit more things open up, like the atmospheric engine pumps and such, we can make a whole lot more iron in here. And right now, the weekly balance is still pretty decent. So I'm expecting to get a pretty good amount of money into the economy, at least. Of course, there is the fact that whenever we increase our own income, a larger and larger chunk of our money is then going to go to Jing, which does hinder us a little bit. And it's going to make this be Jing in the GDP part of the goal quite a bit worse for us, but I'm sure that we can manage. Oh, routing speech captivates the public. Who is the... Okay, that's a bit disliked. I'm going to go ahead and increase... Well, actually, I suppose what I can do is I can check the... So what... Oh, right, so you're a politician... Okay, so we can increase the popularity of armed forces, essentially. Sure, we don't necessarily need to increase the success chance too much, but if we can make armed forces a bit more popular parties, so that might reduce the influence of the landowners, and then we can start maybe pushing some other laws as well. The coal mine is about to be completed. Now, initially the coal might not be used too much, but I'm pretty sure that it will still be... kind of preferred fuel if there is available, but I think, well, essentially it's going to start reducing the wood usage as fuel in the household, so that will at least be a bit of an alternative use for it. I'm sure that it's going to make a profit. Not honestly a massive profit, I don't think, but enough to keep it up and running, essentially. So that should be done fairly shortly. We're still getting a little bit more of the construction speed in here. There we go. So we've got 17.5 total, and there's a 5.8 over there for the private. Okay. So farming boom. Encouragement of the agricultural development in Yongnam has led to a small spike in production at our rice farms. We should look into using this before it goes to waste. So for 2 years we get 10% agricultural rents and plantation throughput in Yongnam, which was this one down here. I mean, that's actually fine. We got a bit of plantations and such in here already. That's quite nice. And we're getting the food industry there now, so that's... actually, let's have a look at the... We can put the sweeteners there. The sugar price is fairly low, and that's going to increase the amount of production that we do. We don't necessarily want to put the pot stills though, because the liquor price is fairly low already. So we'll just keep that as is, and I'm guessing police force is going to... Yeah, it's advanced to consideration. So the private sector, after it's going to build the silk plantation, it's going to build a textile mill. I'm assuming that the construction sector over here is still trying to hire people. Not necessarily too successfully, although it did hire some more there. But I suppose the iron price is a bit high, tool price is a bit high. So we might... Actually, do they produce... No, they don't have iron mines down here in the south. They do have some coal mines, so that can be still handy. We don't really have too much uses for steel yet, so I'm not going to start working on the steel mill. But we do want to get that going at some point. Especially once we unlock steel tools, that's going to be very, very handy. So the tooling workshop, well, it hasn't hired fully yet. But I suppose the wood and the iron prices are pretty high there still. But it does make a profit. Even though not a massive profit. But it does help, which probably means that the iron mines are going to be a bit more... Oh wow, yeah, that is a pretty good profitability in here. 1.7 thousand weekly balance. It's only 2 mines even. So yeah, it's not that much. And we're pretty close to getting the cotton gin. We're now losing about £2,000 per week though. So we might not want to build too much extra construction. Start reducing some of the construction costs as well would be probably quite handy. Because if we look at the budget, I'm sure that the... well, the construction cost, yeah, it's about 15,000, so it's almost half of our total expenditure. And the law has progress adaptation. Or adoption. Right, so we can get that probably fairly soon, which does mean even larger deficit. But that's honestly probably not the worst. As long as we don't need to increase taxes, the standard of living shouldn't be too bad. It looks like the GDP is slowly starting to increase, so we peaked at 6.35 million earlier. But I'm sure that once we get, especially the food industry, that's going to be a really big money maker. And if we now have a look at the tool production, I suppose there's a lot of trade routes. We're buying from the Russians, and then there's... our production is actually the smallest of the 3 right now. The young Sir, but we are working on it. Hey, cotton plantation building throughput increase, and now we're working on the lathe, which I'm pretty sure that is going to start spreading to us as well, because it's the only level 1 in the production that we don't have yet. After that, we might want to go ahead and get a little bit more society stuff like the stock exchange, if that hasn't been achieved yet, and then maybe the other romanticism, which increases prestige, unlocks some art academies. Agrarianism is unlocked. Okay, we might want to go for that one, to be fair. And then we'll go for some more production stuff. We'll have a look at what we're getting at that point. Oh, we've got the academy, so we could probably go ahead and build a university, shall we? Oh, and now we've got dedicated police force. It's minus 127 bureaucracy. It's not actually that massive of a tax. Well, it is actually quite a significant tax waste. But a lot of that unrealized taxes is actually just because the tax efficiency is pretty bad. So it's about maybe third also of the total unrealized taxes is because of bureaucracy. So it's still quite significant, mind you, but we can probably fix that soon enough. Especially once we get the government administration buildings. Got one over there, we could maybe get another one a bit higher on the list. We'll get 2 logging camps just to reduce the construction price, because that is a massive expenditure already. And we kind of want to make sure that it's not going to get too bad, so we'll utilize the local resource productions essentially to make it slightly less of a problem. That does remind me though, I suppose we haven't gotten the... Oh no, we could use sawmills. Oh, we've got the tooling workshop there. I mean, I suppose we might as well switch to that. It's going to increase the wood production quite drastically. We don't actually need the hardwood production yet. We might do the hardwood production over here in the northeast once we get to that point. And our relation improvements are going quite fine. So, Britain did get Hong Kong, which doesn't surprise me, to be fair. Can we improve relations with France now? No, we need more points and we don't have that. Alright then. We'll get into that later, I'm sure. Looks like landowners are actually quite happy right now. So is there any other laws that we could change? We don't necessarily want to switch away from monarchy. I think we're going to stay as monarchy. Well, I mean, we could turn into theocracy, but I don't know. I mean, suppose that would reduce the landowners. Well, it's the political strength of the aristocrats, right? So that would be basically switch to the clergy instead. Oh, actually, no, it's not directly there. Okay. But no, I don't think we necessarily need that one right now. And we didn't really have a lot of other options other than police force. The home affairs, we don't necessarily want to add in more bureaucratic burden right now either. Appointed bureaucracy is good enough for the tax capacity, so we don't want to switch away from that. So we're kind of stopped on the law progress for now until we unlock some more other options. Looks like, oh, tax spread is going to be reduced even further thanks to rule folk being a bit upset. Alright then. Well, we're about to, well, we're working on the government administration building right now, so it's 18.7 right now on the total production. So if we were to get one more construction sector at some point, not necessarily right now, it's quite expensive, but somewhere later on, I suspect what we could do is try to import a bit more wood, maybe? No, we can't import a lot. We only got 14 convoys available as well. Ah, right, well that, what about opium? Can we buy opium from somewhere? Well, technically speaking, we would buy some from the British market. It's not going to be a lot of money that we necessarily make from there. I'm sure there's going to be at least a little bit tariffs. We're currently making 400 per week from tariffs, so it's fairly small compared to everything else. We don't have a lot of convoys to use, to be fair, so that's a kind of limiting factor there. We do have one port level over here, which is already using the clippers at least. We could maybe get another one in our capital at some point. We don't necessarily need more infrastructure yet. Although, actually, let's have a look at the situation. If we were to build, I don't know, something like Glassworks, we can probably see the infrastructure. So we got plenty in all of these, actually, still. And I'm guessing we still got pretty good amount of peasants as well. Well, there's a lot of job seekers, of which peasants do make a majority right now. Later on in the game, it's not necessarily going to be quite as much of peasants that are looking for jobs. But yeah, we don't necessarily need to build more things right now. We've got quite a bit of a construction queue already. I do wonder, so let's actually improve relations with Japan. Just in case we could use the shogunate to assist us getting independence at some point. Which would probably, well, technically speaking, that would make our economy a bit more precarious. We'd have to start importing a lot of the, well, I suppose we don't need the dyes yet. But somewhere down the line, we'll need a lot of it. But yeah, that's probably going to be something we'll work on. So I don't suppose there's any steel mills or steel production in our market yet. No, there isn't. So there's not really a lot of demand for it either. But we can see that the wood and opium and luxury furniture are still in high demand. So is porcelain, to be fair. And we didn't get the lathe yet. We are probably working on it. Iron and tools and paper prices are pretty high. So paper mill might not be a bad idea at some point. Guess we'll build one over here. It might not be a massive profitability. I'm sure that it's at least going to help. Silk plantation is fully employed. I'm guessing the silk price is still pretty low. I mean, it's still making a profit, just about. So I guess that's good. We're losing quite a bit of money right now, but we've got pretty good cash reserves, so we can still afford that. We did get an extra government administration now, and now we're getting the logging camp, so that's going to start reducing the construction cost, at least to some degree. Not necessarily a massive reduction, but I'm sure that it will help. Let's actually have a look at the coal mine. So how is that profitability? I mean, it's okay. Actually, quite a bit of that just goes to the market, really. And if we have a look at the market, so it's just pop consumption in the Jing market. Alright then. Oh, the tooling workshop is now fully employed, finally. It's not a huge profitability, partially because the iron price is pretty high, and so is the wood price. So if we can get the, well, just got the lumber mill over here completed, which is going to start demanding some more tools, which kind of means that we might want to get another tooling workshop. I have a feeling that that could be very, well, it's actually not that probable right now. Maybe if we were to get one in our capital, that would allow us to get some more production in here. One way or another, anyway. Ah, right, so we can't improve relations with Britain anymore. Let's go ahead and improve relations with France if we can. Oh, no, we can't. We don't have, or we don't share areas. Well, let's have a look. Who could we then do some relation improvements? Only Japan right now. Okay, well, fair enough. I guess we'll go with that then. Oh, but I can... Right, I've forgotten something. Something very important. I can declare interest myself. I'm going to go ahead and declare interest in southern China. And that might allow us to do a bit more Let's actually have a look. Oh, so there's a war going on in there. So France is in southern China. We're forming up a presence there, and then we're going to also start trading with the Portuguese, possibly. That could be quite handy. Ah, there we go. Our GDP has increased to almost 6.6 million now. We're number 15 worldwide. We've got quite a bit of work to do to increase on that, but let's have a look. Who is our next in line there? So Sikh Empire's got 7.4, Egypt's got 7.6, Dutch East Indies 8. The Belgium hasn't actually increased yet, but Belgium usually does increase quite a bit because they can build a lot of industries, or they usually build a lot of industries along the way. So there we go, we're getting a little bit of the wood production, so that's going to reduce the construction costs hopefully, and we're still probably spending quite a bit of it. It's still 15.5, so yeah, it's quite a bit. Okay, now it went down a little bit because we just completed building, and starting a new building, it reduces the consumption a little bit. So now it's 15.7, so it's still increasing actually. It's not great. But yeah, we did get a bit of logging camp in here now, so that will hopefully start to, well, it's going to take a while before they start producing everything, and they are going to require a little bit tools, although it's not too bad. It's 5 tools total, and we're going to reduce the wood price quite a bit, which hopefully means that the tooling workshop is going to be a bit more profitable, which means that, well, they are hiring pretty much as much as they can right now. There's a tiny bit of a lack in there, but it's not too much. And the iron price is, of course, still pretty high, but if we can reduce the tool price a bit further, which is probably going to happen, is making the iron mine over here very profitable. Which, to be fair, we could probably just increase the level over there another notch. And then, of course, the lathe is, well, that's going to take a while, but we didn't get the university yet. We're going to get another government administration first, then we're going to get the lead mine logging camp, then university, a paper mill, iron mine. I suspect what we might want to do is get one more government administration in here afterwards, or maybe we can get one in our capital. Get those up a little bit further so we can get, or reduce the tax waste a bit further. It's still not necessarily going to be reducing it that much. Like, a majority of that is still just the not having enough tax capacity in the states that we have. Oh, we got another urban center in here, and the food industry is quite profitable. It could be probably even more profitable, but the pot stills is not really going to make the price or the profitability better right now. But I suspect that there's probably pretty good. Oh yeah, there's a whole lot of buy orders in the market. It's just pop consumption, of course, but yeah, no, we might want to get another level for this one. That is going to make a whole lot of money for us. So we're getting from the private sector, we're getting a textile mill, then we're also going to get a logging camp in the southwestern state, which, to be fair, did we start building one in there? We did, okay, so we are going to have 2 logging camps in there, which is probably not too bad. It's going to reduce the construction cost a bit further. I mean, it's still probably not going to be that great, but it's going to make it better. And of course, it's going to provide some cheap lumber, which might start improving the standard of living, which has started reducing a little bit, which is not great. But I'm sure that we're going to start fixing that over time, especially once we provide a bit better jobs. Right now, the jobs might not pay all that well. Of course, since we've got the serfdom and all that still on, it's probably not going to make life all that easy for the workers either. But at least the farmers is not necessarily going to be all that great. And rural folk really hate us. Alright then. Strongly oppose land-based taxation and serfdom. Oppose no migration controls. I can almost talk. Right, we've got another government administration, so that's going to start reducing the deficit that we have. At least in theory, although at the same time the government wages are going to start going up further and further. But if we can make sure that we don't have a massive bureaucratic deficiency, that's probably going to be good. And the textile mill in our capital is going to be done soon-ish. Well, 7 more weeks. Okay, so it's going to take a little bit longer than expected. But regardless, that's going to be quite good to have. And then, is there... Well, I suppose we could try doing a bit more trade. We're still getting 400 from trade overall. Is there anything else that we need to import? Maybe luxury furniture. Oh yeah, we could start importing some of that from the British market. Technically speaking, usually you are the one to pay for the bureaucracy, or the bureaucracy cost for the trade routes, but I think that right now Jing is actually going to be paying that, which if we do a lot of trade, we get the tariffs from there, the market gets cheaper stuff, and China, or Jing, loses more and more of their money, perhaps, due to lack of bureaucracy. Or they need to build more government administration, which means that they need more paper, which means that if we have paper industries, we can get even more money out of that. It's a bit of an exploit, in my opinion, to be fair, but we might not be leaning too heavily in there. Ah, right. The textile mill is now hiring. I have a feeling that this will probably be fairly profitable. I mean, if we compare it to the one over here, it's got 700 per week, so it's not a huge profit, but it is a profit nonetheless. And I have a feeling that we can do similar over here. I mean, we don't have silk plantations locally in here, but the silk price on the market isn't really that bad. In fact, it's not bad actually at all. There we go. It started hiring. It's got a bit of profitability in there. It's not a lot though, not yet at least. I'm sure that will get better over time. Oh, there we go. We got up to 3 million population in our capital state. And we got almost 4 million in the northwest, 1.7 in the northeast, and 3.7 in the southeast, and 4.7 in the southwest. So the population is definitely increasing. I suspect that it's mostly just increasing thanks to the regular popular crow. Like that. Actually, if we look at the cultures, well, we only have Koreans right now. I suspect that there might be options for others as well. They might have to be of the same religion. Yeah, probably. Well, the later are going to be done in 5 to 8 weeks. That's going to allow us to just increase our productions even further. We reached already 6.8 million GDP. We've still got a lot of ways to go, and we still haven't started the refining our production. But I'm sure that we can get that sorted out somewhere down the line, and we need to get university to level 2. We might actually want to do that. So we'll build a second level for the university down here. It will take some time. Oh, there we go. Now we're getting the double logging camp in here. Which, to be fair, is going to reduce the construction costs, hopefully. I mean, it's 15.4 thousand now, so it has gone down. The cost there, not necessarily enough, mind you, but it has gone down. It looks like the standard of living might be slowly turning upwards again. It's 9.3. It was 9.2 at one point. One gap there, but it's, yeah, the loyalists are increasing. The radicals are slowly dropping, I think. Well, I mean, in the last year, it has still gone up overall. Ah, but there we go. We've got the lathe unlocked. We got the lead mine over here, but it's not really in high use yet. I think what we'll do is we'll start to... Oh, that's already level 3. How much can it produce? It can produce up to 20. So how much would this consume? 30. Okay. It also increases pollution a little bit. Right. So it reduces the wood use, which is definitely good news, of course. We might want to do it on somewhere where it's not quite as much to begin with. And then we're going to start increasing that over time. So the lead, there's no production in the market yet, although we do have lead production in here. It just needs to be a bit more profitable, which is presumably now is. Now they just need to start hiring some people to actually get the production going. And then we're going to start increasing the glass production in here overall. Like right now, it should be equal amounts of glass and porcelain. Later on, once we get the chemical bleaching, we can get even more ceramics going. It might take a while before this is fully producing. I mean, now we're producing 2 already. So we could maybe go ahead and switch this one once we get this one more or less profitable. Or at least the lead consumption isn't too bad. Yeah, there's 9.7. So this is the only consumer of lead right now in the market. And this is the only producer. I mean, it's making a tiny profit. It's not a lot, though. It's mostly just a local market and making the extra glass. Oh, and we're getting the stock exchange done right about now. There we go. So market access price impact. An increase or decrease to the maximum influence of the market access on the local price of a good. Ah, okay. Then unlock some more trade policies. And unlock some more research. So now we're getting the romanticism. Let's have a look at the production. So it's, intensive agriculture. I mean, that could be quite handy. Although we don't really need it too badly right now, but I suppose what we can do is at least start producing a bit of the fertilizer. I'm sure that that will be handy. And will probably be utilized somewhere down the line. Oh, I know that it will be utilized, but... oh, currency standards is spreading. Oh, I mean, that's not bad either, to be fair. So we're still losing quite a bit of money. We do need to fix that. I mean, we still have a bit of lack of bureaucracy also. What do I have feeling that the... Not constantly, but a lot of the time, that same song. So we'll switch that manually. Right, so we're still losing about £4,000 per week. Now, to be fair, we've still got over 300,000. So we've still got about a year and a half or something like that of time before we need to worry about it too much. Although university is going to increase the consumption or the wages and all that even further, so that might cause a bit of issues. We'll also get a bit of more iron mines in the northwest over here, which I'm pretty sure that, yeah, the iron price is still pretty high, which might make the... Yeah, if we're going to reduce the price for the 2 production, it's going to make it a bit more profitable. I'm sure that that will be a very welcome addition. Now we've got the logging camps already hiring in here. At pretty good speed, actually. Lest are the meek. I'm going to make sure that we get less radicals from the standard of living decreases, because there might still be more of those in the not too distant future. Oh, my goodness. Oh, petty bourgeoisie, right? They give a bit less loan interest rate and more bureaucracy. So, yeah, no, that's actually good. Losing a lot less money right now, although we don't have any loans yet. But I'm sure that we'll get to that point at some point, or somewhere down the line. Oh, well, there we go, paddle streamer, or steamer. So that gives the Navy a bit more strength. Not that we have a Navy, to be fair. Oh, mandatory service is spreading. Okay, that's quite handy. But we do want to get a bit of the universities to just increase the research speed, as well as, of course, just getting more education going. So a literary rate is going to start increasing a bit faster, and also it's going to allow us to get more qualifications, which in turn means that we can have more industries in here working, because the more complex industries we get, the more education they require to be useful. Ah, looks like the first university is already built. Now, it does require quite a bit of workers in here. A lot of academics, clergymen, clerks, and laborers. And it also needs a whole lot more paper, which, to be fair, there is a whole lot of buy orders in the market, actually. So paper mills might be quite profitable. At least locally over here already, and then overall globally is probably going to be pretty good as well. So still number 15 in the GDP. Let's have a look at the world. Is there anything going on in there? Oh, Prussia is fighting a war against Austria and Russia. They got Ottoman Empire on their side, so it's a bit of a... not quite First World War, but it's... I don't know. I wonder who's going to win this, actually. So we can see that there's the battle lines over here. So at least now there is some stuff on the map. I mean, it's still mostly just... well, I suppose there is a bit of people in there as well. It kind of shows you the front line a bit easier. Well, if you zoom in, you can see it very clearly in there. And there's a front line going up to there. And I suppose there is a front line allegedly in here, but I don't see a lot of fighting there, to be fair. Well, regardless, I suspect that that's a majority of it right now. So we are, 6.9 million GDP. I suspect that we can increase that soon a bit further. So the private sector is building more coal mines. It's building one over here. Well, that's actually good. We will get a bit more production in here. And what are we getting? So we're getting the intensive agriculture after the Romanticism. And after that, we might want to go for something like mechanical tool. Oh, right, we got the late... So that allows us to use the dye workshops. And of course, later the furniture manufacturers. But we don't have any of those. But we do have quite a few... well, 2 textile mills. So if we were to get some of these in, that's going to increase the cloth production even further. And that's probably going to increase the GDP as well. So we did get the lead mine over here. It's producing 11 right now. So if we were to switch this one to use the leaded class as well, it reduces the wood consumption a little bit. It doesn't mean that we'll need to get a bit more lead, but it does put out even more stuff in there, which is not bad. Although the glass price itself is not that... Oh, hold on a bit. What we can do... we can... Hold on a minute. Is that urban? It's probably urban. Market squares. We can start using a bit of wood and glass over here to produce even... Oh, and employ more clerks, apparently. But produce even more services. That'll be quite handy. We might want to increase the lead production over here at some point. Or at least things to increase the lead consumption a little bit. But there we go. We at least produced or got ourselves a little bit of extra services and a little bit extra consumption in the market for the class that we are going to be producing with the lead. So it's a good increase in there. We're still losing a decent bit of money, but the deficit has dropped. We don't have a bureaucratic deficit anymore. We're still losing 22.6 thousand taxes per week because we don't have enough tax capacity in places. Ooh, the textile mill. Oh, right. So they increased the production. Oh, maybe some of these employees were hired elsewhere. That's also a possibility. Right, so the paper mill is going to be done fairly shortly. After that, it's going to be another iron mine, then another government administration, just in case, because the petty bourgeoisie might not be very happy for all that, or loyal for all that long. Eventually, I'm sure that they'll get a bit upset. So is there any laws that we could pass? We don't have any political movements right now, and there's not really a lot of laws that I could potentially change either. I suppose we haven't unlocked the agrarianism right now either, so we can't do that one. Interventionism requires different... Right, we need to get rid of serfdom, really. Agrarianism we can do even if we have serfdom. But it's got quite a opposition from the landowners, which, to be fair, their influence has started dropping. So the armed forces, well, I suppose it's mostly the clergy that is actually eating to that, and I suppose maybe a little bit petty bourgeoisie and a few others. Ah, there we go. So we got the paper mill up and running. And seems like the paper price is pretty decent. It's not actually going to be a massive profitability in here, but I'm sure that it's going to be able to increase the production all the way to the max level. So it's going to be 40 paper produced in here, and that's going to be quite good in the long run to have at least a local production in there. So the cost of the, especially the administration centers, is going to start going down because they don't need quite as much input of resources, or at least it's not quite as expensive input of resources. But I do see that we are actually out of time for this episode. So if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also got links down below in the description. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, bye.